Hello everyone, my name is Jay Schneiderman, a member of Team Branjo, and I am here to tell you about the third part of the ADDIE process, which is the development phase. The first part of the development phase was talking about the media rationale, which is the explanation for why the media was chosen over some of the other alternative methods. The first reason why we chose some of the media we did was because we are dealing with first and second grade students, and many of those students already have experience with technology such as phones, tablets, and computers. So our media that we chose had to go along with that theme. It also complements the teacher's approach to learning. It makes the learning more effective, and it also produces a more meaningful and deeper understanding of the concepts that are being taught. The media chosen also helps to bridge the gap. Effectively using the media will bridge the gap between the student's knowledge and the learning objectives, and it will do that by motivating the student, aiding in the retention, and making the learning more relevant. The media will also engage the student's left and right hemisphere of their brain. It will appeal to the audio and visual learners, their different learning styles, as well as the multiple intelligences that we have in the classroom. It will make teaching more fun and learning more fun for the students. It's age appropriate for the first and second graders that we are teaching. It's user friendly. The teacher can also start and stop a lot of the media that we are using to help assist in the student knowledge. The second part of the development phase was the issue of message design, which is the attention to organization and the presentation of information to support understanding of the message contents. Team Branjo decided to stick with the same lesson plan formatting that the teachers used at Champion Elementary, so they were already familiar with this lesson plan formatting. On that lesson plan, there were pre-instructional strategies, there were detailed step-by-step instructions for the teachers, there were plenty of videos for the teachers to become familiar with the objectives being taught, and videos for the students to watch to learn as well. The materials were thoughtfully developed for the teachers to give the students with little to no modifications to the lesson plans or accommodations needed, only if the teacher felt the need to help meet the needs of her students. There were lots of pictures and graphics, a lot of visuals for the students to see. There were formative and summative assessments for each one of the lessons developed. And we also presented the lesson plans in a Google Doc format and shared that with the teachers at Champion Elementary so they could view it themselves, and like I said before, to make any changes if they deemed it necessary. The third part was the instructional resources, and in this part here, what I did was just list off a bunch of different resources that we used in the lesson plans that we came up with. As you can see on this screen here, there's some resources for grade 1 and some resources for grade 2 as well. A lot of these are obviously links to websites like BrainPop, YouTube, PBS Kids, abcya.com. Lots of different videos and graphics for the teachers to share with the students to help enhance their learning. Some of the other resources on the lesson plan were very detailed step-by-step lesson plans and procedures for the teachers, also detailed directions for the students to give out as a separate handout. As I stated before, there were formative and summative assessments for the teachers to use to gauge the learning of the students. Team Branjo also made rubrics for the assessments to help the teachers and provided checklists and surveys for the students to use as part of a self-assessment. The next part is the functional instructional product, which is the lesson plans with the materials, the computer programs, and the PowerPoint presentations, etc., that we used. Team Branjo came up with 18 different lesson plans. 9 lesson plans were developed for the first grade, and 9 more lesson plans were developed for the second grade. The lesson plan template was the one used by the teachers at Champion Elementary. And again, we shared those lesson plans using Google Docs with the teachers. The lessons were age appropriate, and the lessons were also designed to fit the class schedule of Champion Elementary. All of the lessons that Team Branjo developed can be found at the Branjo wiki space, and when you go there you will find the 9 lesson plans for grade 1 and the 9 lesson plans for grade 2 listed on that web page, and I will show you some of those lesson plans now. Here is the wiki space for the Branjo, and as you can see there's the team members right there, and if you scroll down you will see the same thing that you just saw on the screen. Here is grade 1 lesson plans. Here is grade 2 lesson plans. I know I stated there were 9 lesson plans. We're just waiting for 2 more lesson plans to be downloaded, but those will be there for the final project. But there are 9 lesson plans for grade 1 and 9 lesson plans for grade 2. So I will click on a couple of these. I will go to grade 1 lesson 2, and I will also pull up grade 1 lesson 3. After you click on those links and download the lesson plans, you should be able to pull up something like this. As you can see, grade 1 week 2 and grade 1 week 3, and it starts off by stating the objectives for each of the classes, and there's a couple different objectives for each week. And if you scroll down you'll see that we also used the ISTE standards to help develop our objectives, and then just some of the different strategies that we used. If we scroll down you can see here recalling from previous lesson, the performing a task, and then all the different instructional strategies we used are checked off right here. And then if you keep scrolling down you'll see the procedure, the sequence of the instructional content, and then some of the different links to the websites that were stated earlier, the visual clues for the students to see, because sometimes instead of just hearing it from the teacher, seeing a visual clue will be helpful as well. There's the assessments and another link to the resource needed for that lesson right there. And then the checklist that the students will be using to check off the objectives as they complete them. And over here for week 3, same format is set up, and the IST standards for developing our objectives. The same thing down here with the different instructional strategies and the procedure and the sequence, the assessment, the different resources stated there. Finally, the assessment plan. I kind of already showed you some of the assessments in the other lessons there, but the last part is coming up with the assessments, or talking about the assessments that we used in our lesson plans. We used the backward design, coming up with the objectives that need to be taught, and then developing the assessments that are aligned to those objectives. The ISTE standards for technology were used to create the objectives, and then once the objectives were decided, we worked on the assessments that would test the students' knowledge of those objectives with rubrics and checklists and surveys and all the different types of formative assessments and summative assessments that we used. Here's just a quick list of some of the strategies that Team Branjo used: pre and post quizzes and assessments, something called trading cards or points, where points were awarded as they completed the objectives or the tasks, self-assessments so the students can analyze their own learning and decide what they need to work towards, checklists for both students and teachers to use to check off the objectives as they learned them, rubrics to give them detailed explanations of the assignment and help to improve their future performance, surveys where the student will complete surveys so the teacher can analyze student understanding of the objective, and finally observations where the teacher walks around to check the student's work and to check for understanding. And that concludes the development portion of the ADDIE process and my portion of this project. Thanks.